Hey everybody, welcome to the Pizza and Hummus podcast.
Trying that casual intro.
Trying to get
hey everybody,
that casual.
I don't care that you're here, but here we are.
It's no big deal. You know? I'm like a teenager. It's not cool to care about stuff.
Whatever. Jolly Ranchers.
I just wanted to do a quick update. We said in the last podcast that our show was on December 14th. It's actually December 28th.
Mm-hmm.
So look for that on all social media. We had to push it back a little bit, but it's okay, you know, because now you don't have to worry about any of your Christmas shopping and all that good stuff. And if you have your relatives, they're still hanging around and you don't know what to do with them before New Year's,
Where to put them.
Have them come to the show Friday, December 28th. It's at Eats and Crafts, also known as Troy Escape. So whichever one you look for it on all social media stuff.
December 28th.
Boom.
This is the Pizza and Hummus podcast.
So why would you listen to the Pizza and Hummus podcast?
Am I right, Barnaby?
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh!
I laughed way too hard at That's the worst thing ever.
And welcome back to the Pizza and Hummus podcast.
Hey,
What's going on?
what's up, everybody?
This is Vince, of course, and always with Richie.
Oh, yeah.
So we had some plans today, and they fell a little short, which is fine. So we just started talking about just a bunch of stuff.
I think we got some things on purpose and some things on aging, hierarchy.
Just a whole
stuff.
bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start that right now. I'm not even confident. I don't know. This is for you guys. Just kind of see what a typical conversation would be like if we didn't have a serious topic in hand.
The conversation episode.
The conversation episode. So.
It's just the most vague thing ever. Welcome to the conversation episode. This is a podcast.
This is a podcast. We talk.
Yeah.
Not always about comedy. We talk about a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So, Richie, when we had the Fall Times episode, you were like, yeah, I was here on time, and I saw Vince had 2 ducks in his hand, and today I gave you cooked duck.
We ate that duck.
We ate that duck. We ate it.
Oh, my God. It was so good.
Yeah.
There was, that was very steak-like. As far as I've never had duck before. It wasn't too tough, but steak-like.
Yeah, we did do a lot of. My dad loves putting steak seasoning on everything.
Yeah, that probably added to it.
So
yeah.
that probably adds to it too. And there's different ways to cook it, but yeah, we cooked just the breast. Put all the different seasonings and stuff on it, put it in the oven, and then we also did a popper where we took like a jalapeno, took out all the seeds so it's not too spicy, filled it with cream cheese, put the duck meat in there, and then wrap it around in bacon and cook it.
God. I just ate it, but hearing it, it's like, where is it?
It's like Ducks Unlimited combined with Chili's. It's just a great thing. But and I got a new mug for my birthday too. I got a Overwatch mug.
Beautiful.
From the ranch, from the wife.
I got this also from the ranch, but not directly for me.
Yeah. She made it when she was, I think, 13 or 14.
It just gets the spotlight every episode. All right. Cool.
There you go. We got it.
Got it.
We should create a store and then see if we can make replicants of that. So people are like this
like
is
an
the
online store. Do you want the same mugs that would be cool.
That would be cool. I wish,
but it would have to have our logo. Maybe maybe this one.
We'd have to do something in which we would have fans that would want I want the same mug that Richie has.
Right.
Because
he's spitting this one.
It's the best one. That's just the replica.
If you sent this to Ancestry.com and tell you who my aunt is.
How do you feel about all that, the DNA stuff?
I don't even
Not like how you feel about DNA, but how do you feel about
I think it's a
like you spit, you send it in, and then they go, okay, you came from all these places. We think you're related to people.
I genuinely don't know how, not less of a, how I could say, I have no idea how an iPhone works.
Yeah.
Not in that regard. I just don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to, if that makes sense, I'm trying to separate it because it's not of bewilderment and amazement. I don't understand how an iPhone works. It's more of just like skepticism and the more I think about them, I'm just like, so what? Like, what does my spit? You go DNA test. Okay, but what does the DNA have to do with you knowing who? Because my aunt from 400, my great aunt didn't spit in a cup.
Oh, yeah, I
give it-
see what
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't get how it helps at all.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to look up my last name and then trace it to mother's maiden name and then go backwards, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Google, great. I don't understand how my spit connects to someone who never spit.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Is that correct
It does.
skepticism? Because I've never actually
I
spoken
don't know if it's
this.
correct skepticism, but for our level of intelligence, I think that's just enough.
That's why we don't have anyone who knows what they're talking about to not correct us. Stay out of it.
If you're a guest, if you want to be a guest on this show, if you have a good scientific background, just don't bother.
Just don't bother.
Just don't bother.
Right.
We're here. We want you screaming at your car. No, that's not how it works.
I wish I was in the room for only negative reasons so I could stop the conversation from happening.
See, we get some critiques from this podcast every once in a while, specifically from my mom. And she's like, you guys never stay on one topic.
Right.
You guys always just go on tangents and you go on random stuff. And it's like, but we're not experts in anything.
Right.
We're just having a conversation. Our goal is that you just listen to this and laugh and don't take it seriously at all. Mm-hmm. Or you just take it as like, if we do get a little serious about something, you just go, oh, okay, that was nice.
Right.
And then you just kind of move on.
Take it as it is.
We are,
That's funny because my mom's favorite episode is the back to school episode. She goes, you were talking about back to school and you had a teacher on.
former teacher.
Right, and it was all succinct and cohesive, and he provided his take, and he knew because he knows what he's talking about, and you guys don't.
Yeah.
It was great, and I was like, all right,
We're just never doing that one again.
no. No, my mom likes it, so I'm rebelling.
So I was thinking about my childhood for a while because I do it a lot.
For a while,
And I was just
every
thinking about
day.
the teenage years, and I was like, what was that? That was such a weird time, and everyone
What
kind of
was
went
going
through
on
it.
over there?
There's just a weird cloud. Like, I just remember like you just had that feeling that everyone was just watching you,
all the time.
and it wasn't the NSA. It was just everyone was just watching you, and like, oh, if I make one mistake, if my hair looks a little off, if I wear the wrong T-shirt at the wrong time, it's over.
You're just so hyper aware of everything you do.
So when you're a kid, you feel comfortable to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
But you start to get older and you still feel limitations of what you can do, but you feel comfortable playing outside, let's say. You feel comfortable running around playing outside. That's a part of the thing. Hey, kid, go out and play.
Yeah.
When you're a teenager, you get into that weird world where you feel like you can't really do anything that doesn't follow X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Like, remember when you were a teenager and it was lame to try
Yep.
anything?
Try.
If you were just trying, if you were putting effort in anything,
Raise your hand in class and try to get the right answer.
try to get the right answer, try to get a good grade, try to do well at your job, try to, like, how many pep rallies and school functions did they try to do to boost morale and lower the suicide amount? And yet kids were just like, I'm not going to that. And your whole plan mentally was, I want to avoid the pep rally.
Yeah.
I'm going to fake sick. I'm going to run away. I'm going to hide. I'm going to be there.
general.
I'm going to be there and I'm going to look upset. So
Right.
everyone knows that I don't care about anything and I'm not trying anything.
Where does that even come from? But keep going.
It comes from Satan. Comes from evil because it ruins lives. Anyways, so you have that world.
It just goes to show you how, especially at that age, because no one has any integrity. No one is anybody. No one has
Yeah.
any sense of self. They're just kind of imitating, which is human behavior. They're just imitating.
Yeah.
And it's really speaks for how influential someone who's just confidently just doing something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I had a better word for it in my head at the beginning of the sentence, but just how much of an impact that makes on the people of just seeing someone happy.
Yeah.
or feel, I don't know. I can't think of the words.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think that's where that's I feel like we want to strive to be. We want to be someone that is competent, that is confident in themselves, and when people see you, hey, you seem like you got yourself put together. What's your secret? You're living out things, you're working things out. even if there's times where you don't feel that way, or you're struggling, or you're doing whatever. Mm-hmm. I think that's something that people look to, because I mean, when you're think about your role model. Your role model has to at least be competent and confident in what they do.
Right.
Even if they have doubts and stuff, but they're still confident in what they do. Otherwise, why would you look up to that person?
Right.
No one's just like, I guess I'll be the greatest boxer of all time.
I guess I'll be
like,
the greatest.
You know,
If that's what my dad wants for me.
like it just don't work that way.
Yeah.
I guess I'll start a company and no, like you want people that are confident.
I hope this turns into Google.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I could go to medical school, or I could start Tesla. I don't know.
That's such a funny character of the unconfident, reluctant dreamer. I guess I'll start the Beatles.
I mean, I don't see one on the moon. I guess I could go there. I don't know. I guess I could go on the moon. Does anyone got a flag I could put in so people believe that I went there? Oh.
I'm uncomfortable in my own skin. Wow, that's my new favorite thing of all time.
Reluctant, successful person.
I started doing this. This is completely unrelated. It's just something that another thing. At work, I started to like do analogies. Like if someone's like asking me a question about something, and I'd make an analogy that's not really clear.
Yeah.
It'd be like, what do you feel about Justin Bieber? And I was like, well, I think he's hot. I think he's real hot. Garbage. But I like garbage. So I take it out to the trash because I don't want it near me, because the whole world needs to see it, because he's that good. But then you got to shut the dumpster so no one can see, because you don't want it to smell, because some people aren't worthy. And it was just like, do you like Justin Bieber?
Or do you have a garbage fetish? Like, what's going on?
What is happening? Yeah.
What is going on? But yeah, no, it's just it's a weird time. But yeah, when you think of people that are influential, you know, they're people that they're confident. And even when you think of depending on what your every relationship is with your parents, mm-hmm. like if your parents looked confident, you'd be like, oh, well, I guess things would be okay. If your parents were on panic mode all the time, that would probably be a very stressful household to be in.
Yeah. Well, it's going to turn you into that.
Yeah. If you're always seeing your parents freaking out over everything. Whereas if your parents are like, yep, you got to do this. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay. And then you find out later that the dad's like, yeah, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, but that's okay, though.
Thanks for not telling me.
Yeah, thanks for not telling me. I always think of the, what's it called? How I Met Your Mother. Mm-hmm. There's one episode. Instant tears every time, okay? Mm-hmm. And I don't cry that much, believe it or not. My physique will fool you. I don't cry that much. But when I do, it's these moments.
Okay.
There's a moment where the gosh, what's his name? He's the guy who's married in the group.
Yes.
He's in Yes Man
yes.
and stuff like that. Yeah. So his dad dies, okay. And he kind of spirals to where he starts he moves back in with his mom. And he's like playing old video games again. And he's like pretty much becoming like a 12-year-old again, because he's just like freaking out over everything. And the mom is like, I don't know what to do with him or whatever. And and he says, you know, he's like, when my dad was alive, there was a time when I was a kid and there was a huge ice storm and we had to drive through this huge ice storm and you couldn't see a foot above you, in front of you. And my dad looked so confident, and he knew he went through it anyway, and I really looked up to that. He's like, with him gone, I don't know if I could go through the storm. Okay, so it gets feeling. So then later on, he has a moment where he ends up seeing his dad in a vision or something like that, where he's back to there, and the dad tells the son, I had no idea what was going to happen. I was terrified of what was going to be in front of me. I couldn't see a thing either, but I knew I had to keep moving forward. And it's like, whoa,
man,
feels.
Wow.
So then he gets up and he gets up and he goes back to his life, goes back to his wife and all that type of stuff. And it's like, that's what I think it is. I don't think anyone really knows 2,000% what's going on.
No one knows what they're doing.
But no one really knows what they're doing. But just the fact that you're confident and you believe, like, well, I just got to keep moving forward. That's the only thing I do know.
Yeah.
Is I got to keep moving forward. If I stop, I'll drown, and if I go backwards, I'll be dead. So it's like I have to keep going forward, and those are the people that you end up looking up to. And then the problem is that we see it as, we start to see them as like this impossible deities that we can't attain.
Right.
But then it's great when you find out those moments where you're like, yeah, I was terrified, but I moved forward anyway.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know I was going through the same feelings you were going through, but I went forward anyway. And it's like, wow, I can do that too.
Yeah.
So
Martin Luther King Jr. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. Boom. No, yeah. I feel like you wonder what the order of events should be, because I feel like they need the let's take I guess that same order of events of you have his dad in that case of being, here's the motivation, here's everything, here's the life lessons.
Yeah.
And then you wonder if it's eventually necessary to remember, oh yeah, hey, I was scared the entire day. Don't think your fear makes you weak or crazy or not me. Just remember that's normal. I also had it. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's almost more important, because then you realize, well, I'm not that. I'm all scared all the time and fearful of what could happen.
Yeah, I'm too paranoid. I overthink or whatever. There's no way I could do that. But then it's like, well, no, that's part of the process. That's kind of the whole thing about being brave. Being brave isn't that you're not afraid. It's that even though you're afraid, you're still moving forward anyway. That's what bravery is.
You can take more.
Yeah. You can take it. You can handle it. You're going to still go in spite of that, because there's something greater beyond that fear. After you go past that fear, that's really what bravery is. Bravery isn't like, I'm immune to the emotion of fear.
Yeah.
Like I'm a psychopath.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm a psychopath.
I'm a psychopath.
And a superhero at the same time.
I'm not afraid of murder. I don't know. Whatever. Like,
because it's my favorite hobby.
Because it's the best. But
that's good.
Yeah. Isn't that good? I always, if I watch it, it's waterworks.
You know what season that is? Early, late, middle?
It's closer to late.
Okay.
I'll try to find a link and send it to you. But it's one of those I was like, wow, this show has real life stuff.
Yeah. My sister's going to be so happy we talked about this. Every single life event, she goes, this reminds me of a How I Met Your Mother episode. Like, there's no way it does.
there's no way.
There's absolutely
there's
no
way Barney wearing a suit
relates to
this.
Him saying up top, and then it relates to whatever's happening right now.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of King of the Hill.
It's new season out?
No, it's just on Hulu.
Yeah.
So I just watch all the episodes. It's so weird, because the older I get, the more I'm like, Hank Hill. He knows what he's talking about.
He's the hero.
He's the hero. He keeps his lawn nice.
He smells propane.
He has a passion for propane. Like, I wish I had, like that's the passion that you want. You want to have passion. You want to have pride in what you do, because you want to do a good job and you want to contribute to the world, as well as have confidence that you can bring something to the table of value, rather than like when you think of selling propane and propane accessories, that doesn't sound exciting.
Yeah.
And that's why when you see Hank like super proud of it, you laugh, because you're like, why is he so proud of that?
Yeah.
But then you realize that when he does that, he's doing he has pride in his work. He has pride in what he does, and he always tries to treat every customer. He wants to do the best that he could do, and that's something that you can apply to everything in our life. Even if you're a teenager and you're doing that lame job, the unfun job, I can't believe I'm doing this dumb thing. It's like, yeah, but you need to appreciate it though. You need to do a good job, so that way you can do better in the future and you can get something out of it.
Yeah.
And then you're also going to build more confidence in yourself. Whereas if you're just sulking, because I did that with my first job, I was sulking. Oh, I can't believe I got to do this. This sucks, and I wish I was home and all that crap. It's like, yeah, but you have a job. That's one, and two, the idea is that you're building experience, so that way you can get a better job.
So just no one's gonna do this job well.
Yeah.
Including you. You just assume everyone's going to do this job, whatever it is that you think isn't good enough. You just hope everyone in the world whoever gets this job does a poor job like you're doing right now because you're better than it.
Yeah.
How about you do a good job? Because if you're better than it, should be easy. Should be no problem.
Exactly. Because then it's so funny when you see the people who like your younger tweens, they didn't really have a job yet, have experience. They'll look down on those jobs and they'll be like, how can you not figure out how to do that? It's so easy. How hard is it to flip a burger or whatever? And then they do it and they're like, wow, this sucks. And then hopefully they get out of that job and have an appreciation for like, well, it's not so much that it's easy, but it's still work.
Yeah.
And it's still whatever, and no one's really better than a certain job.
No.
And that really hones in.
I feel like that's like the there's so much God. No, I 100% agree. I think that's where success truly comes in, is being able to take any job you're doing and realize A, you're not better than it, and B, you're going to only get benefits by taking this as serious as possible. You know how, I mean, I'm sure I'm going to actually switch gears just slightly, is I feel like purpose, it's a critique millennials get if they want purpose out of their life right away. And that's a negative or a critique of millennials. Mm-hmm. And I think it's annoying, certain critiques of millennials, but I think that's correct. And I think people overthink purpose. Yeah. I think 100%, and it causes a lot of depression, and everyone's just like, this isn't my purpose, or this doesn't feel like purpose, or look how happy that person is backpacking across Bali, or doing this, and be like, that's what I should be doing. There's a lot of that's what I should be doing. I should go to the Grand Canyon and look at the big hole in the ground. And there's a lot of that. You can guess what my opinion is on the Grand Canyon. And I feel like that's so, you're overthinking it. This is what you're currently doing. Mm-hmm. Whatever you're currently doing, I'm sorry, Alan Watts. Whatever you're currently doing, it is what you're doing. Like, this is exactly what's happening. And the more you think about what could be or should be happening, A, the more depressed you're going to be, and B, the worse of a job you're going to be, which is only going to limit what you think you should be doing. Yeah. Like, it's not going to help this is where you are. Live it to the fullest. Flip the burger.
Flip that burger,
and then you'll
man.
probably be, if you're doing it to the full potential, you'll probably be a manager.
Be the best burger flipper. I think of like even the Monsters Inc. Was Monsters University, where they, throughout the whole show, they're doing a joke like, hey, if you fail, there's always the mailroom, and they're all joking about the mailroom. Yeah. Well, at the end, spoiler alert, they end up working at Monsters Inc. in the mailroom. Yeah. And their whole thing is, we're going to be the best guys in the mailroom. We're going to deliver the fastest. We're going to improve. Mm-hmm. We're going to be the best team. And then you see that they move up the ranks where they get promoted and they do all this great stuff. And eventually they become the top scarers, because their whole mentality was, whatever we're doing, we're going to be the best at it. We're going to do our best. We're going to give our 100%, and we're going to do a great job. Because another thing too, when it comes to your work, no matter what it is, even if you don't think it's that impressive, your name gets attached to it. Mm-hmm. And if you're doing a bad job on a job that maybe you think is below you, well, guess what? Now you're below that. Yeah. Because you're not even doing that job to its fullest potential. Yeah. So there's that thought. And then the other thought I wanted to say was, in terms of your purpose, I think the problem is that when they do the critique about millennials finding our purpose, the reason why I think it's a problem is because we don't realize that the purpose isn't the thing you get in the beginning. The purpose is what you get at the end of the journey. We think we need the purpose so that way we can start. Like we need a compass or something. It's like, no, that's purpose should be more of like the treasure that's behind the dragon. Mm-hmm. It's something like you have to go out and you do your best, and then you start to find out and mold yourself into the world, and you go, okay, this is something that I should be doing. This is something that I'm interested in, and you move a little here and move a little here. You're not going to do that by just sitting around going, well, what is my purpose? What should I be doing?
Waiting for purpose to knock on the door, as if that's even comprehensible.
Yeah, exactly. And you could do the cliches of like, oh, we're used to things instant. We're used to things now and all this stuff, which is true. But I also think it's also an adolescent thing. I think it's just because we're younger. Yeah. I mean, we don't, like for us, if you're in your 20s, okay, each year is longer than the person who's in their 40s.
Yeah.
Because they go, well, geez, 20 years ago, that wasn't that far ago for me.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're a kid, you're like, 10 years ago, I was 10 years old. Holy crap, that's crazy. Like, I was thinking about that with me. I just had my birthday recently, and I realized 10 years ago, Richie, you and I went out, rented Gears of War 2. We bought Gears of War 2 because we were finally old enough to go by ourselves without any parents. And we bought it, and they're like, oh, sweet, happy birthday. And then we played that. And I was like, wow, that seems like so long ago.
Yeah.
But for most people, I mean, if you go to someone who's in their 50s and 60s, 10 years ago, it was like that.
Yeah.
So I think there's that too. I think there's that in terms of impatience.
And you wonder if it's because you were saying the purpose at the end of it, which I think is true. Could it also be purpose in the middle of it? With the
purpose while you're doing it.
While you're doing it and I think that comes with stop overthinking it again of maybe your purpose doesn't even have to be something you can like define. I am stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Sure. Is that what you want to do right now? That could be your purpose. Whatever it's like people think it's like you're going to mash the puzzle piece. It's going to glow. Indiana Jones. You're going to move the rack. Be like, figured it out. My purpose.
Yeah.
How about your purpose is just doing everything you're doing with the full amount of effort, because 1 second from now you will have lost that moment. You know what I mean? Your
purpose mainly overall on a broad spectrum is to just keep moving forward. So, and I think that's where we get in some stumbling blocks, because you have people, they go, well, I don't really know what I want to do, so they just do nothing. It's like, no, the solution to not knowing what you want to do is to just start doing stuff.
Yeah.
And you'll know right away, this doesn't work for me, this does work for me. Oh, I never thought about this, let me explore this some more.
Yeah.
That's where it goes. It's by moving forward. And that's something that gets it's hard to tell people that, because they don't want to move forward because they're like, I don't know what I need to do yet. It's like, well, just do something.
Yeah.
And if anything, you're going to figure out what you don't want to do. And that puts you more ahead of what you want to do.
And at least at that point, you'll have momentum. Like, I'm already moving.
Yes. And you start feeling good. You feel like you're progressing. Even if you're finding all the stuff you don't want to do with life. That's still progressing, because before you didn't even know that you didn't really want to do that.
Right.
You didn't 100% know. Now you know because you've experienced it.
Back to being a millennial.
I
feel like a lot of that, what you said, comes from comparing yourself to others. Is I don't know what I want to do, and everyone's scared of wasting time, so they don't make any decision. Well, I don't want to pick the wrong thing and then waste my time.
So they end up doing
nothing and then wasting more time.
By wasting time. Yeah.
Indecision is worse than wrong decision.
Yeah.
I don't like how many quotes I have.
I also like this quote, and I think I've said it before on the podcast. Done is better than perfect. So, as long as you're completing things and moving forward, that is moving forward, by the way. Just you going out and doing stuff. If you sit around and get stale, you're not moving forward. Well, let me take some time. And there's really, Richie, you probably know this too, because you're getting your master's, you're finishing up, and you also work, and you also have a social life, right?
Yeah.
So you have all these different pieces. What's interesting is the people who don't really have a lot of things going on. Maybe they only work a couple hours. Maybe they go to one class and that's it, or whatever. I mean, people that don't have a lot, all of a sudden they're always busy. They're the hardest to schedule. Whereas the person who's working like 50, 60 hours, all of us, they're more likely to be like, oh yeah, I can make some room here. I can juggle this. I can do that. I can fit this in my schedule. Yeah. As long as we'll put it on the calendar.
I'm already going to be out. I'll be moving. I'll stop by on my way home. Oh my God, that's so me. It's not even funny as far as when I get in a rut of like, God, I don't feel like doing stand-up. I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like being so. Guess what? Hey, Richie, you want to hang out? It's going to be 1 foot from where you're standing. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
I can't.
Nothing in me wants to move.
Yeah. But the second you do like one show or two shows, next thing you know, you're going, okay, I got to drop this off here and I got to move here and I got to do this show and then I got to do this and do this. But you don't even think about it because you're just in that rhythm.
Sleep is less important in a good way of just like, 6 hours is fine because I'm doing what I'm doing.
And whereas, or even if you are doing stuff, you tend to naturally go to bed a little bit earlier. Whereas if you're doing nothing, you're just kind of, maybe you're sitting on your phone.
True.
Or you're going online till 3 o'clock in the morning.
You end up staying up later doing less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas if you know, like, okay, I got to get up early tomorrow. I got to do this, this, and this tomorrow. So you go to bed at a reasonable time. You're getting up and you're doing good. Whereas if you don't have a reason to get up tomorrow because you don't have anything going on, you'll stay up late doing nothing. But yet those people, I feel like they're the hardest to schedule time with because they feel like they just don't have time. Or if they book one thing for the week, all of a sudden they can't do anything. Because I got this on Thursday between 2
Monday,
to,
no, I can't.
Between 2 to 2:30. I can't. I'm swamped. You know? Whereas the people who are constantly busy, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I can fit that in 5 seconds before I go to 16 other things. Yeah. And then they do it because they want to do it. Oh, yeah, this, and this.
Yeah.
It's true. And I think we're even doing that. Hopefully we'll do that with the podcast because we're building some little more momentum. What is another critique about millennials?
Well, there's the instant gratification, needs purpose, instant gratification.
I think the most millennial thing is when someone says they're not a millennial.
Yeah.
And they don't have, like, they're not going to be able to cash in on Social Security. Like, if you have someone, like, there's people around my age, which we are millennials, I don't like being called a millennial.
It's derogatory at this point.
It's derogatory at this point, but I am a millennial.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say, "Oh no, I'm not a millennial." I'm Generation Y. Yeah, that's a millennial.
Yeah, you did it.
That's just what we're.
You just like a different word. That's
yeah.
fine.
You just want to change the word. Well, actually, I was born 2 months.
I'm
before.
a Taurus.
I'm a Taurus, so I can't.
Mercury's in retrograde.
I know what the word pith means, so that's that voice, the pith guy. So, you know, technically I'm not a millennial. It's like, listen, if I show you a picture of Rugrats, do you get nostalgia and share it like crazy? Yeah, you're a millennial.
Yeah, you did it.
You did it.
Rugrats is the gold standard.
It's Rugrats. Do you know Rugrats?
Yeah.
I didn't watch TV growing up.
We watched CNN and
That's why I talk like this? I used to talk like this when I was 7.
I always knew what the weather was because the news was always on.
Yeah. My parents didn't love me.
Just casually throwing it, be like, I just really think the waves are going to be radical on the East Coast, and my parents haven't spoken to me in a week. You're like, geez.
It just gets really dark.
What was that?
I still wet the bed and I don't know why.
Dave, you're alright, man? Do you ever wonder if, like, you're not real?
Like, what? This gets real dark. Real dark real quick. Millennials hate being called millennials, and I think it's adorable.
That's what it is.
Like, just, I mean, okay, I was born this time. It's also weird that we have people, and I do it as well. So I'm going to say me. Let's just say me. We'll just fill in with all people. You get a sense of pride that you're older, or you get a sense of pride that you were born a certain way. Like how many, back in my day, the kids weren't on our phones. They like a sense of pride. It's like, listen, phones weren't invented.
It's like age hierarchy where you're like, and it's literal age hierarchy. Like, the older you are, the more you get to complain how things were better when we didn't have the polio vaccine.
They were better because you existed at that time.
Right. And you have more value towards the milkman. Back in my day, we'd have to go out and get the milk.
Yeah. The milk gamed us.
So it was better.
The guy were all white for some reason. In case the milk spilled on him, you couldn't tell.
It was fine.
Yeah. But it's weird. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a bunch of critique about our generation. There's a bunch of critique about every generation.
Yeah.
It's weird that we've talked about this a lot in terms of tribalism and groups. I don't care what category. We'll group it.
Yeah.
Millennials
People
versus the Gen Xers versus the baby. It's always, you know what? The weird. Here's the thing about the Gen Xers.
Which one are they? Younger than us?
No, they're older.
Okay, they're like 30s, mid 30s.
They're like my parents' age.
Yeah, right after baby boomers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. They're after the baby boomers had the Gen Xers.
Okay. 80s kids.
80s kids.
Yeah.
80s, not, yeah, 80s, you know, stuff like that. And now someone's like, no, that's wrong. It's whatever.
They're older than us. Relax.
They're older than millennials. It goes baby boomer, Gen X, millennials, and then now we have Generation Z.
Okay.
They're the ones that were born after like 2000.
Yeah, after post-germs.
Post-germs. So those, yeah, you know, they don't remember.
Yeah.
They
Only
they can't. They don't remember because they were 1 or 2. They were very young.
only Generation Z will remember this, and it's just a picture of yesterday's newspaper.
Yeah. No one else. It's just a picture of the future. What? Because other generations won't live that long. They won't know. Anyways, but no one ever really talks about the Gen Xers. It's always, well, because one, Gen X sounds like a cool punk band.
Right.
Or a lame alternative band.
Or what the 80s thought the future would be.
Yeah.
Is Gen X.
Which I'm pretty confident the 80s was the future.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at every 80s thing, it looks like it's from a future.
Devo.
Yeah, it just looks like it's from the future, and then our stuff looks like we're still like, remember the 90s? Like, that's our whole generation.
After the 80s came grunge, which is the oldest looking thing.
Yeah.
There's 80s sleek techno
Yeah.
and pop, and then it went into, all our jeans are ripped because this is District 12 in the Hunger Games, apparently.
Yeah.
90s grunge. And then it's slowly coming back up, and then 90s are back.
And then somewhere in the point there was the frosted tips for your hair,
Early 2000s.
super baggy pants,
Right? It was at the future.
Super
I don't
baggy.
know what that is.
And then it's just weird. But anyways, no one ever talks about Gen X. It's always the baby boomers versus the millennials.
Yep.
They're always attacking
Those are the
each
two
other.
fighting.
The baby boomers are attacking the millennials, and the millennials are not going to Chili's and other restaurants, so the baby boomers are getting upset. There's so many, like, millennials are killing the blank industry, the napkin industry or something like that.
Millennials.
I think that's a real one. I don't think I'm joking about that one.
Millennials are like, we killed straws, and we're coming after napkins.
I mean, I guess technically the straws were killing turtles.
Right. And
So then we killed the straws. It's the circle of life.
It's Alien versus Predator. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So the enemy of turtles is my friend.
There's the seaweed. Then the turtle eats the seaweed. Then the straw attacks the turtle. And then man attacks the straw. And one day we will.
Can you imagine
will
an
die
alien
and become the
documentary of just like, the man interfered and saved the turtle from the dreaded straw.
Circle of life. But yeah, so there's that group.
Yeah.
That took so long to say.
That hierarchy. So yeah,
It's the hierarchies, the groups.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. There's so many categories where it's just like, you know, and it's beyond just like left versus right. It's like we need to be in a group. Here's a problem that I have, and this is me that I have a problem with. No matter where I live, that's my home team,
right.
and I hate anywhere else on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
Like I came from my, you know, where I grew up, my parents' house. I'm like, yeah, this is my place. This is where I live. Okay, like this is my territory or whatever. Then I went away to college and I was like, my hometown is the worst.
This is my town.
This is garbage. This is where I live. This is my place. And
This is
then
where I plant my seed.
this is where the future is. And then after college, I started to work there, and I'm like, this is definitely where it is. Nowhere else. And then I moved back closer to home, and then I was like, you know, then I found out that I couldn't really even afford my hometown
Where your
because
home
houses
is.
were expensive.
Yeah.
So then I live now, and I'm now even today I'm just like, this place is the best. Meanwhile, I remember at a young age saying, who would want to live in the city that I live in today? I'd be like, who? I go, why is that a thing that's so dumb? No one should. Why would you want to live there?
Yeah.
Like we have a downtown with some lights. Like who cares? Like it's so lame. It's not cool as these other places. Now I live here. I'm like, this is my
This
turn.
is where people should be born.
This is where everyone should live. No one else should live anywhere else.
No
Everywhere
one
else
else
is garbage. They're all the enemy.
Just zero integrity. Just like wherever I am right now, you're just at like the mall, be like, Adidas store is my home. And then you leave 5 minutes later, you're like, I hate that place.
Based on the simulation theory,
Right.
wherever I am, That's all there is.
Well,
There's
that's all you
everything
know.
else. Everything else is just a loading screen.
Right. It's just waiting for you so you watch the video. So it's just
I
waiting.
did watch the video, but that's how I think. Everywhere else is just garbage.
So we can confirm if a tree falls in the forest and you don't hear it. No, it did not make a sound. Simulation theory.
There was no tree in there in the first place.
No.
It's loading. It's all ones and zeros. We live in a simulation.
Thank you. We are done here.
We got it.
We got it. We figured it out.
Finally. But like I get in this mentality where like whatever is mine or whatever is associated with me, I go, this is better than the other stuff. This is better than the competitor. I have
Because it's where you are.
that tribe. You have that tribalism mentality. I think it was Joe Rogan and Tom Segura. They were talking about how since they travel so much and they go to different states and they go and they perform and they lived in different places all the time, they're always so surprised how much pride people have in where they live. So like they'll make a joke like, "Oh, you live here. Oh, this place is garbage," and people will take it super like,
Yeah.
"This is a me."
Yeah, that's...
You're talking about me, and they're sitting there like, "Guys, there's other places. Like you don't have to live here. If you want to live here, do great." But like. Ultimately, one, we're making jokes.
Right.
We're doing comedy. You're supposed to laugh at yourself. You know, you can't laugh if you can't laugh at yourself. But the other thing is, like, why are you so tied into where you are? It's like, it's who you are.
It's funny how there really is an identity and attachment to where you live.
Absolutely.
Small, big, whatever. And it's like, and it's such an us versus them. Michigan versus Ohio. Man, people in Ohio are probably just like you.
Yeah.
You know how far away it is? Not. It's not far away.
Someone told you one day, oh, there are rivals.
Yep.
And you went, okay, so they're orcs.
That's my exact
it.
experience, is someone told me Ohio, bad guy. And I had that opinion until I went, wait.
They got Cedar Point.
I
They can't be that bad.
Right, no, I thought about it for literally 6 seconds. I was like, wait, why are they bad guy? I don't know. So I guess they're not. Okay, cool. And then that part of my life was just over. I thought about it for 6 seconds. Call it a day.
We have 50 states in this country. I've lived in one. But yet, I assume that my state is the best out of all the other states.
Clearly.
It can't compete. No other state. Don't even try it.
Don't even... I don't care
Just
how
come to
beautiful
my
Hawaii
state.
is.
Yeah.
Michigan's more beautiful.
Yeah. I don't care.
Hawaii.
We got... It don't snow in Hawaii.
And I like the snow.
You can't brush the ice off. It's not too hot, but sometimes it's hot, but it's okay. You know?
I like how people...
You got lakes? No, you got an ocean with sharks. Boo-hoo. I got lakes.
Boo-hoo, alligators.
They don't call them the Great Lakes for nothing. In my opinion, the greatest lakes.
You just forget where you're from based on your accent.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just get the name Great Lakes for just having lakes.
Yeah.
You got to go through a rigorous process of paperwork and how good your lake is. And we got the top 7 homes.
We got them all right here for a reason, baby. All these lakes, they were elsewhere. They wanted to move closer to the best states.
Shaped like a glove. You know why? Because it's holding the #1 trophy.
Woo!
Just the worst people ever.
But, you know... But
That person is a real person. The voice we were just doing, he
Oh, yeah.
exists everywhere.
yeah, and he's me.
And it's me.
Shocker. But, you know, and but it's just so weird. We get so tied up in like, okay, this is my group, this is my clique, this is my whatever. I would die for these people, and then you change your mind and you go, just kidding, I would die for these people.
Right.
And then, you know, it's just weird. And you know, I don't really know where I was going with that.
No, but it's clearly a waste of time. I mean,
But
people having that.
It's a waste of time. No, I mean, you know, the rivals and groups and all that is fun, but it was just weird.
As soon as it's not fun and you paint your face, I think it's over.
Yeah. I had a discussion with somebody, and I really don't have like a team because we talked about this many times. I don't really care much about sports. But I just did the dumb question. I'm like, "Oh, so why is that other team like what's bad about them?"
Like asking a sports fan, can you give me an actual reason why the other team is bad? Their brain just melts.
Because
Okay,
in my
keep going.
opinion, when I'm watching it, I'm like, oh, these guys are good.
Yeah.
In that they're, you know, whether they're beating them or not, they're giving them they're playing, they're giving it their all.
Mm-hmm.
I I don't care what sports event it is. I do like watching like the last couple minutes and it's tied or the points are close. I like that. I like a good game. It's nice and close. You know, I don't want
general competition.
I don't want a blowout.
Right. Even
if it's my favorite team, I don't want that. That's not fun. That's not exciting. That doesn't make it in the movies when they make the biopic of them. It's always down to the last second. The bases are loaded. There's only a couple seconds left on the clock. What other sports references?
Yeah. Rudy ends.
It's a par 3.
7.
Something's happening. That's what I like. But anyway, so I just asked. So what's bad about them? You know. And I was, maybe I was thinking, well, maybe they were going to talk about their stats, their scores, like, oh, they're not that good. No, there's like, just the people there are they just think they're better than everyone else, and they're just horrible.
Isn't that what you're doing right now?
Yeah, and I'm like, and I sat there thinking, like, don't you, so you think you're better than them?
You think you're better than them, so they obviously have the same opinion about you because it's justified based on this conversation.
But I was just sitting there, and I was like, okay. But yeah, that was the thing. Like, and it wasn't specifically like, oh, there's a specific player on the team that they're cocky and they
killed 3 people.
They killed 3 people, and they think they got away with murder, literally, and they just think they're better. They think they're above the law. No, it was like, the people that just live there or go there, they just think they're better than everyone else.
I have no basis for my hate. It just goes.
And they're just, they think they're great, but they're just not. So that's why I don't like.
That's so funny. I hear that so often about like specific rivalries of just like, oh God, the other team. So they think they're so much better than other people.
And isn't that the whole point of the game, is to think your team is better, so that way you root for them to win?
I hope so. So you have confidence in the direction you're going.
Yeah, you have confidence. They're moving forward, baby.
Yeah. The guy again, I guess I'll win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. World Cup, okay.
Anyone have any hand sanitizer? I want to go perform.
Stanley. I need his cup, I guess. I don't know.
Doesn't know anything about hockey.
I guess I'll just slide in and get it, I guess. I don't know. I don't really want to. But that is insane.
Yeah.
That is insane. And it's weird because it is beyond. Because then you think, oh, why is everything so divided with politics and stuff? It's like, I think we want it to have this thing of like, it's us versus them for everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. It could be sports.
Well,
it could be
a lot
where
easier.
You live.
It makes it a lot easier and justifiable to have whatever opinion you have when you project a negative, when you project the evil onto the other side. It makes it a lot easier to say, I am a State fan, when you have in the back of your head, of course, because the other team, our rivals, are bad.
Yeah.
So it makes it a lot easier. You don't have to question your opinions ever. You're just right.
I will say this. Maybe it's more fun.
Of course it's more fun.
Because you're beating the bad guy.
Right.
But I think it gets a problem when there's riots.
That's literally
and people are attacking each other because their favorite sports ball team won or didn't win.
Right. In high school, we were all in a car leaving our high school football game.
Oh,
and our opposing team saw like a sticker or something that we were on this team. They just followed us.
Yeah.
Until we went into a driveway where I guess we got to get out, and then they blocked us off in the driveway. And we're like, I don't know, what do we do now? Do we get out? I don't know. And then they just left. End of interaction based on 0 things.
Actually, no, it still went on. Cuz I was in that car with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We drove out and then I went to like a highway.
Yeah.
Because I just kept moving forward and I was trying to like pass the 2 lanes. Eventually, they drove up by the side of us, rolled down their windows, and just started swearing and saying profanities at us. And we just sat there and we just went, okay.
Now what?
And then they drove away because of our team.
We had the wrong sticker.
We didn't blame the sport.
No.
We didn't do anything. And they were going
this is what
nuts.
You do on Fridays in high school.
You bad person and all this stuff. And I remember our only response was just, okay.
No,
we don't know.
I don't know what to do.
How
do we solve this like adults?
I was 17. I just wanted to go there, get a nice hot cocoa, maybe some hot dogs, look at girls in inappropriate clothing. Because even though it's cold, that ain't stopping them.
No.
That's what 17-year-old boys like to do.
That's what we were doing. You got it. Now we got to
I didn't even know what the score was.
No. Now we got to get chased. We were in a chase
We were in a car chase.
Michael Bay directing this life. This is stupid. This is why.
This is why.
This is why I drink. I'm just kidding.
This is why.
Yeah, remember that? That's funny.
Yeah. Anything else new with you going on, Richie? Anything worth anything worth sharing?
I don't know, man.
I got all my Christmas shopping done.
I got none of it done.
Well, I guess not all of it. I still got a little bit of the white elephant gift, so I'm just gonna go to my nearest dumpster,
Pull
out some stuff, and go, here you go.
use a fishing hook, and whatever I pick up, that's all right.
That's what you're gonna get.
Oh, empty tin can, cool.
Because it's trash. Trash.
I just last minute decided to participate in the work gift exchange, not a white elephant gift exchange. And I was like,
So is that where you put in your name and what things you like?
Yes. And so I was like, you know what?
We call that Secret Santa.
Secret Santa. Shut up. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. I decided last minute. I go, I'm not gonna do. Okay. Christmas spirit group. I gotta start shopping for my family. I don't know what to get any of them. This just becomes like a reel, just like a www.helpme.com. Just what do I get, family?
What do I buy?
What do I get?
Last year we talked about how it was really good, to give and to try not to be too. You want to be too frugal. You want to be able to, show people that you care and give them gifts. And then January, I was just did that for way too long. I was like screw that.
I gave too much.
I gave too much.
Yeah.
So now this year, you're gonna get some things that you like, but I'm gonna step on the brakes a little bit.
Yeah. I did end up spending a lot because I did the concert tickets. Everyone got a concert with me, so I bought my ticket and their ticket, so I get to go.
Yeah.
And then, or I did like a comedy show, my ticket, their ticket, and it was a lot of money. It was just because I bought 6 tickets to like good shows.
And what would be cheaper is you can get them a show of Pizza and Hummus Presents.
Right, they just get to come to this. Here's $5. Don't worry about it. I will say though, that was probably my favorite. Like I'm hoping to do it again this year, because
or not, just
or
in
not,
case, in case anyone's listening.
My sister's behind a couple episodes, so she's not going to hear this till March.
Perfect.
And then, I like that idea just because I just in hindsight, I ended up getting a lot out of it.
Yeah.
Seriously, selfishly, I got to enjoy. I liked everything I did.
Yeah.
But also I got to, it's just, you don't live with your family anymore. So it was a nice thing to one-on-one time
Spend
with
time.
each person. Yeah. It was good.
Have you ever got a situation though where there's like, oh, I'm not available that day. I'm going to a wedding or I'm going to something else.
What happened was
I got a business retreat that week.
I had, so my mom's favorite comedian is Sebastian Maniscalco.
Because she's correct.
Right. Because she's right. That's the number one. And so I got tickets. Me and her were going to Windsor. Sebastian Maniscalco. I think it's like a 9 p.m. show. Now my mom, 50-year-old woman or 25, I don't know how old she is.
Yeah.
She gets to get, oh my God, awesome. And then later she gets up the courage because she's got a lot of anxiety and says, hey, I don't know how to break this to you, but I'm not going.
Yeah.
She goes, I don't want to go across the border. I don't want to go at 9 p.m. I'll be in bed by then. This is the best gift ever. I don't know how to tell you. I can't go.
Yeah.
And so we did Painting with a Twist instead.
Yeah. And you didn't give me the other ticket?
No, and then I went. I went just by myself. No, I didn't go by myself. Me and Trevor went.
Oh, okay.
And then
so not me.
Right,
Okay,
correct.
Okay, good.
I might have even asked you, and
You might have. You know me. I would have done the same thing. Hey, listen, Richie. It's not gonna happen.
This isn't gonna
I'm not
happen.
going across the
We can't
border
go
at
across
night. That's when the White Walkers come out.
That's when
and
the
attack.
border patrol stabs you.
That's when all the ice monsters come out. Can't do it.
No, but that was the only thing that happened. So if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do something that's a little more feasible. If I do a ticket, a concert ticket or something, we'll see.
That's fun. Yeah.
Maybe Pitbull.
My parents, well, I guess we're going to talk last year. So my parents, they're really into these Department 56 things. So what they are, there's these little houses, okay, and they're hand painted and stuff, and they're very expensive. At least I think they're expensive. And every year they get at least one, and then they build a big collection. My Nana does the same thing at her house. So she has a whole ton of these little Christmas houses. And it turns into this, you create this little world And we're actually starting it too. So my wife and I, my parents got me gave us their first one once we got married. So they gave us a church, and then the following year we bought like a little like house, and then we're buying a little thing. This year we bought a little Starbucks building. It's pretty fun. I'll show it to you
Making
later.
a little town.
It's a little town. It's
Yeah.
a little town. You got snow, and they light up, and it's great.
So it becomes a Black Mirror episode where there's real people living in there who think this is the real life. Anyway,
Yes.
simulation.
That's also Twilight Zone. They did that in Twilight Zone too, with an
They
alien,
did.
the little alien ship.
Yes.
We found that's the regular people, and the person that is like, oh my gosh, the Italian. I mean,
The
This-
Italian.
Italians, the Italians. No. The spaceship, whatever. That person's a giant.
Right.
That was a great episode. Anyways, so we just give them those once a year. But now, so here's the thing. You would think, oh, my mom would be really into this. And she is. She's very much into it.
Yeah.
But she's got my dad hooked. And my dad now is turning this into that scene in Lego Movie with Will Ferrell when he goes down, he's got the whole thing.
It's just gone too far.
He's got this huge thing, and it's amazing. It's amazing, and it'd be great for a toy store in an 80s movie. He's got a giant train set that goes around the world. I mean, it goes around the town, and he's got a little motor for it and a little thing. But Dad's really into trains, which is funny. Not like crazy, but when we were little, he always wanted us to play with trains, and we hated trains. So he has a little train set that goes around. He's got all the houses. They got layers. Like, okay, so this is where the cabins live. He's got all these little cabin houses, and it's like mountains and trees and all this stuff. And it's like he gets so in depth with it, and it's really great.
Yeah.
But I just never would have thought my dad would be so
it
into
doesn't
this.
strike me as that. It's so funny.
This just does not seem like what my dad would be into.
Something just strikes a chord, and he's just in it now.
Yeah, because I remember there was a couple years, as the sets were getting a little bigger, my mom would put them on a table. Oh, these are kind of cool, and you make them or whatever. And sometimes he would go to like thrift stores and try to find some, but sometimes they were good, sometimes they were like off-brand or they were chipped or broken or whatever.
Yeah.
But now he's got this whole world. He has to move his couch. He's got to move his couch and put it in a different room and not use it anymore, so that way he can have the living room be this huge setup of this world of
He's
Christmas.
got the small living room, so he's got to move everything out of the real living room.
Yeah.
To make room for the small living room.
Yeah, so he's got this little, he's got this little world, and it was so funny because when he finished it, he sent a video to everybody. He's like, "All right, guys, look at the little
Live
detail.
streaming.
Look at this. We got this. We got this. Look at the little snow detail I put here. Look at this.
Oh,
look
I
at
love
this.
it.
It was great."
Yeah.
And but it's just, and here's the thing, like I'm really into him too, so I don't want to act like I'm separate from this. I like him too.
Right.
And I hope to have maybe something like that one day for me. And it's kind of cool where each year you get one, and then eventually it builds up.
Yeah.
Versus just buying them all at once, because they're just way too expensive.
Kind of related to that, back to the beginning of the episode, we're not mixing age hierarchy, we're mixing no one knows what they're doing, we're mixing everyone just go confidently. And this isn't the no one knows what they're doing, but more so the similarity between everyone, regardless of age.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to, I'm 26, I'm 27, I should know X, Y, and Z. And
Yeah.
when you don't, you think you're crazy. This is a man. He's so far very fulfilled life. Your dad.
Yep.
As far as career, family, you should know what you should be above. No, everyone. Do you think? Okay, presumed with you have a soul inside of you.
Yeah.
Let's live from that. You have a soul inside of you. Do you think that changes? I feel like I can't imagine. I'm sorry I'm talking in circles, but I'm trying to get it out. I can't imagine what I have behind my eyes being different just because I'm 20 years older.
Yeah.
And I feel like people try to identify with what they should be at 40 or 50 or 60.
Here's what I think it is.
Play with trains.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Regardless, what do you want to do?
I think this is what I feel so far, and I'm a youngin', as they say. Now, the older I get, the more comfortable I get to trying things, to experiencing things, and to appreciating little things. Mm-hmm. Kind of going back to the King of the Hill stuff. Like, no, I'm not playing out in my yard, but I'm mowing my lawn. Something that I thought, that's what old people do. Mm-hmm. That's lame. Why would you want to do that? And yet my dad would get excited to mow the lawn.
Right.
So then I start mowing the lawn, and you realize, well, you're getting instant gratification. You're getting pride. This is your little space, and you're taking good care of it, so you feel good about that. You start, maybe if you want to go further, you can learn, oh, I'm having problems with my grass here. Why is it always going yellow? And you start doing a little research, and you start kind of learning more about lawn care. What at the time seems super lame, super boring. You're trying, but you're getting more comfortable. So I feel like my dad, he's, like I said, he's successful, he's fulfilled, and he's finding joy in learning about these little houses and these little worlds. Even though as a teenager, that would be seen as like lame, that would be seen as dumb. Like, why would you do that? You got your little doll houses?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Well, I wonder what it is too, because it seems like that's a very common thing. Not like men get a lot of, I think they might even do it cohesive with a midlife crisis. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying it seems like there's a point similar to a midlife crisis where men start actively seeking hobbies again.
Yeah.
Men or women actively. And I wonder if there's a way to not have it hit you like a train, pun intended, where you're just like, oh my God, I got to find something I like. You know what I mean? You wonder if there's a way to go through your late 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and never lose something fun. Like, clearly you're gonna have more responsibilities and things you have to find fun in, with the yard and maintenance and your home and building a family, things like that. But is it possible to not lose the fun that you do want to have when you're trying to be white picket fence? Does that make sense? You know what I mean? Because it seems like it does hit you, a lot of men and women. Boom, I gotta start going back to the bar, or I got to start going to games again, and you know what I mean? And you wonder if there's a way to keep a little bit of the youth in you and not lose it throughout the 30s and 40s.
I think so. But I think, like I said, I think the other thing is that you're channeling that youth to different things that you maybe wouldn't have tried before.
Yeah. Having the youth eyes on something that having the same bewilderment of a youth on something that an adult would do is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like I say, going back with the yard, it's not so much a chore, a boring, lifeless, soulless activity.
Yeah.
It's something that you're taking pride in, and it's something that you feel like you have control over, and you feel like you're improving upon. Similar as you would as a kid, like you want to do really well in baseball, or you want to do really well playing a video game. You want to get to that next level.
Yeah.
So that's what I think it is. I think it's channeling that throughout to where you're doing things that maybe you didn't think were interesting before, but now you're having a new appreciation for it. The other thing too is like your dad, for example, doesn't he play like ping pong?
Yeah. So he runs a ping pong club, table tennis club.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the same thing I feel like that's, I mean, he's had countless hip replacements and injuries throughout the year, to where it's him, I gotta keep just something inside of him. I gotta keep the competitiveness. I gotta have something competitive. I gotta keep it going.
Yeah.
And it's something he really likes and is good at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's nothing like when you think of table tennis, that might not be, or ping pong, that might not be something that everyone's thinking about.
Yeah.
Or someone saying, oh, well, that's just a lame game that you play or whatever. But your dad has taken it to where he can get, he's like, well, this is something that I can improve upon. There's a competitive nature of it. There's probably so many, like I play ping pong. I hit the ball once and it falls off the table and that's it. I suck, right? Your dad probably knows the techniques, the styles, and all this stuff.
He probably hits it and it goes over the net.
He probably hits it and it goes beyond the net. It goes to the other person. And if they hit it back, he can actually hit it, and it doesn't just go way over there. And it's just, when I play ping pong, it's just a game of fetch.
Right.
Hey, okay, my turn. All right, you go fetch the ball. All right, hit it to me. I'm going to fetch it now.
Till you get sick of bending down and picking up the ball.
Yeah. So, but it's like little things like that. They get in these little hobbies or these little things that they like, and they don't have that feeling of, oh, well, am I supposed to be doing this?
Cynicism.
Is this my purpose?
Worry.
Is this what I'm meant to do? You're just like, oh, what is this thing? This thing's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it can do that? Oh, okay. And you just kind of go forward.
Yeah. So I guess maybe doing it too, because I think the not caring and the worry of what you're supposed to do, same thing with taking this hobby and putting it in a teenage self. I don't want to do that. Well, that's lame. Does it look like I'm trying? And maybe you don't care about trying. Maybe you care about, is this a good use of my time? Is this a waste? But it seems a lot easier when you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s of being like, more confident of what you just want to do without fear of judgment.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe is something to strive to adopt younger and younger somehow, of doing what I want to do in a productive sense because it's what I want to do.
And I think part of that is just accepting the fact that there's things you're going to do that you're going to fail at. There's things you're going to do that's not going to come easy to you. And I think by the time you get to that age, you've built up enough experience to where you've seen failures, you've seen successes, to where you feel confident in yourself, to where I could try this and it's okay if it doesn't work out, or I can try this and it's okay if I actually like it.
Right.
Because that was the big thing with teenagers, was like, you have to like certain things. If you're out of that zone of what you're allowed to like, which is usually nothing. It's usually just like getting in trouble. That's your favorite thing.
Yeah.
Making your parents
in
worried.
mischief.
Getting in mischief, because you're too cool for everybody else.
Right.
Like, I don't know, like, and I think too, part of it is, at least it was for me when I was a teenager, you want to impress the girls, right? You want the girls to think.
It's the basis of everything you do.
Everything you do is, you want girls to be able to talk to you. You don't want girls to laugh at you. They want to laugh with you.
Right.
They want to think you're funny, not funny looking. You want to impress the girls, so you gotta follow these. You gotta stay in this zone. Whereas,
play ball. You better play ball.
Whereas now, now for me, I'm married, and I found someone who loves me for who I am, and I love her for who she is. So I'm more comfortable being like, yeah, I can be out of this box a little bit.
Yeah.
I can be a little this and that because I know things will be okay. And even if if you're single, if you have confidence in yourself, it's okay if I'm a little out of the box in terms of, what is considered the cool, but just things that I find interesting. I think you're going to find a person that's like, wow, this person's really confident and they like doing this stuff. Even if I don't like it, I appreciate that they like it. Like my wife loves musicals.
Yeah.
I can't stand them.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that she has a passion for musicals.
I was just going to say, there's something to speak for, regardless of what the actual topic is. Seeing someone with passion is so rare and genuinely beautiful, regardless of who it is, to be like, oh my God, look how passionate they are about blank. Yeah. And then I think it's getting to a point, whether it's through life experience or just time, of just being who you are, passionate about what you're passionate about, and just, if someone wasn't going to come to you, if someone's going to come to you for you pretending to live in the box, it's probably not going to last regardless. You know what I mean? Be yourself. I'm going to leave.
Be yourself. Be yourself.
When I start to say be yourself, I have to go. This is stupid.
That's what it's.
Here we go.